Welcome to another edition of the Willy Bragg Show. I hope everybody's doing well this holiday season, and hopefully, as the year comes to a close, and we'll have under the circumstances, in spite of the circumstances, we'll try to make the best out of 2025 as much as humanly possible. So. There you have it. We have Desert Mantis here. Desert Mantis says, I may miss the show, Willy, because the title made me so mad. Well, I mean, it's just a title, and I have something to say about it because yeah, I mean, everything is so obvious, but I can't believe that they are throwing around AOC's name. Yo, says Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. And we have here at Chuck's Intergalactic UFO Show. How are you doing, my friend? So, anyway, AOC. Considering they're floating around the name AOC to run for president. Even when I was the big time supporter of AOC years ago, I said to myself, when people talked about, oh, she's going to run for president one day, I was like, no. I mean, and that was when I was a supporter of hers for Congress. I thought of her running for president was kind of a joke. I was like, no, she's doing fine in that 14th congressional district. But I mean, I don't even feel that way anymore. I mean, I don't even feel that way. I mean, I don't even critically support her anymore. But the idea of AOC running for president is preposterous. It's not going to happen. But some people are optimistic, so I'll show you this video, and I'm going to give you my take on this. So hold tight, and as my grandmother said when she was alive, hold your tater. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. David Schuster here. Across the U.S. political spectrum, there's now a lot of intrigue about the 2028 presidential campaign, and Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. AOC has begun a listening tour of sorts with her constituents who voted for Donald Trump, and on a few issues like transgender athletes, AOC seems to be moderating or adapting her views. Is AOC positioning herself for a 2028 presidential run? The view from conservatives is interesting.
I want to talk to you a little bit about AOC, because to the conversation we were having a little bit before the break about messaging and sometimes the Democrats doubling down, she's actually asking after this election loss a lot of questions. And she kind of wants to know what went wrong. It seems like she's almost repositioning herself. And while the Dem bench right now isn't plentiful, some are saying she could be the nominee in 2028. But if so, it sounds like she's taking a very interesting and smart approach. She's not dumb.
No, you're exactly right. I'll say this about AOC is that she has a lot of talent. She has tens of millions of followers on social media, and she is someone that needs to be taken seriously. If she were to run for the presidency within the Democrat Party initially, she would be formidable. We as Republicans, we can laugh and we can try to make fun of her, but she understands where the energy of the Democrat base actually is.
No, she doesn't. She basically fucked the energy base of that Democratic Party years ago. But you can still live in that reality that you people on Fox News and people like yourself, Charlie Kirk, still lives in. Oh, she's a scary socialist, revolutionary, right? Right. Let's go on.
Which is a progressive energy. Now, good luck winning in Ohio or Michigan or Wisconsin or Pennsylvania and any of these Rust Belt states with that sort of radical left-wing perspective.
The ridiculous labels, of course, never seem to end. And as Bernie Sanders proved in 2016 and 2020, progressive populism can actually do well in the Midwest and Rust Belt states.
Very true. But here's the thing. Because Bernie Sanders did well in those Rust Belt states in 2016 and 2020, And that will be the very reason AOC will not get the nomination. I mean, look at what they did to Marianne Williamson, who was not to be taken seriously. A nice lady. I mean, I had nothing against her. She was okay. She was better than Biden, obviously. Better than Kamala Harris. But nobody took her seriously. I don't take her seriously. I don't hate Marianne Williamson. I don't sit there and be like, well, fuck her because she's not perfect on everything. But here's the thing. She did not do a dirty break with the Democratic Party. I can't take somebody seriously, I mean, including Bernie, that would not do a dirty break when push comes to shove. Not that I'm speaking on behalf of Jaron Perlman, who's been on this show several times, but I can safely assume that she did not vote for Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I don't think she voted Republican either. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you're not willing to do a dirty break with the party, I can't take you seriously. So. As much as I like Marianne Williamson, I couldn't take her seriously. I had my problem with Cenk Uygur, but ideologically, he's miles and miles and miles superior to Joe Biden. Although I have my opinions on Cenk Uygur, who ran in the Democratic primaries. Dean Phillips was a lukewarm improvement to Joe Biden at that time, but I have absolutely no respect for Dean Phillips. He's basically a centrist Democrat that decided to go and try to appeal to some of the more moderate margins of what was left of the Bernie movement. And I didn't take him seriously. And some of the tweets that he made about the health insurance CEO talking about, leftists cheering his death, whatever. I mean, fuck Dean Phillips. He can fuck off. So if they did that to the Democratic primary, you saw what they did in 2016, you saw what they did in 2020, and you certainly saw what they did in 2024. The Democratic Party will not allow a primary to have an insurgent campaign take on the establishment. It's kind of been that way since 72. After 72, when after the McGovern defeat in 72, they try to make sure they put a stop to Jesse Jackson. They put a stop to many progressives over the years. They found ways to, Howard Dean kind of did it to himself with that. When he did that little scream, that apparently ruined his campaign or what have you. But you saw what he did to Dennis Kucinich in 2008, and what they did to Bernie in 2016, 2020, and what they did to Marianne Williamson and RFK even. So the Democratic primary is not a place where democracy flourish. So David Schuster, you're living on another planet if you think that AOC is going to go and be a force to reckon with in the Democratic primaries. They would not even allow her only just 1 minute at the Democratic convention in 2020. They only allowed her 1 minute to speak because they thought she was dangerous. We don't think she's dangerous, but they thought she was dangerous. But anyway, the illusion of some of these people.
Most voters there believe the system is rigged for rich people and powerful corporations, and messages about closing the wealth inequality gap, moving towards Medicare for all and making college more affordable, those campaign issues actually resonate. And there is a strong argument that Donald Trump's appeal, particularly in the Midwest and Rust Belt, is due to his anti-establishment approach and desire to turn the U.S. government inside out. In fact, there were plenty of Trump voters in 2016 and 2020 who said that they would have voted for Bernie Sanders if he had been the Democratic presidential nominee. So,
yeah, I remember Michael Moore talking about the 2016 election, how he predicted that Donald Trump was going to win, and he was correct in how he predicted that Donald Trump was going to win. And it was basically people getting shafted by the establishment, and they saw. I mean, there's a lot of the people that voted for Trump that they weren't racist or whatever. A lot of them were previously Obama supporters, probably still have good vibes about Obama to this day, but they felt like the establishment had kind of shafted them. So they went and they saw in Hillary Clinton as a voice for the powerful, for the establishment, because she is the establishment. And then they saw Donald Trump, who was saying mean things, telling it like it is, quote unquote. And look, here's the thing about it. When you're a billionaire, you can say these things and not get repercussions. I don't know why people fell for that, you know? I mean, I could, if I had billions, I could run for office and, you know, say what I say here on YouTube, and maybe somebody will be like, oh, that Willy Bragg, he's really such a loose cannon. But I'm using myself as a poor example, but I'm just saying, when you got billions is your free speech right there. That is your speech. Money equals speech, unfortunately, in the society. So there is nothing particularly special about Donald Trump other than he had a lot of money, that he can be a loose cannon and kind of get away with shit that an ordinary politician can't get away with. And we're supposed to be impressed with that. It's actually what is wrong with the system when the more money and the more power you do have, that you can get away with shit. That's actually the problem. But as far as AOC is concerned, I mean, kind of like Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, they do have a reputation for telling it like it is. The three of them, the problem is that they all, in their sort of way, succumb to the establishment. Bernie and AOC succumb to the Hillary, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Democrats. And with Donald Trump, yeah, he ends up succumbing to he actually ends up succumbing to the Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell wing of the Republican Party, even though it doesn't look like it. So, you know, perceptions is everything in politics, and that's unfortunate when you have perception over actual substance. So, she's not gonna go far in these primaries. If she in fact runs, which I kind of doubt, but then I'm gonna end up having egg on my face if she runs in 2028. But we'll see.
Charlie Kirk's views about progressive politics not working in certain areas is wrong, in my view. When Democrats stand for big things like taking on Wall Street and doing dramatic things to help the working class, Democrats can win. And that's where...
Okay, that is true. However, when Democrats, people like John Fetterman, when he's running for office, or people like Elizabeth Warren, and they're running for office, who are, both of them are not, quote unquote, as far left as Bernie Sanders or AOC, quote unquote, but they're, you know, further left than a Hillary Clinton Democrat, further left than a Chuck Schumer Democrat, obviously. Those folks, when they run a progressive populist campaign, they talk the good talk, but once they come in there, they end up selling their souls to the highest bidder, and you can see that. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, all she has done is regulated herself down into to identity politics, which, you know, identity politics and nothing else just ends up. She ends up being another Democrat, and with John Fetterman, ended up becoming Apac's bitch is what he ended up becoming, and not only did he surrender to the Israel lobby, he ended up also giving up all the other progressive issues that was out there. I mean, you know, he gave up his pro-labor, pro-Medicare for all positions, or what have you, and so somebody threw it in my face when I was downing on John Fetterman. It's like, well, why do you hate him now? Because he's pro-Israel? I said, well, that's partly his cucking before Israel is a factor. It's not all the factor, but it's large. It's a significant part of it. But there's other parts of it too, and that's what people don't understand. You know, if you're supporting a candidate for office and they promise all these things, and then they come in there and they succumb to the establishment and they become part of the system. I don't care. You wear your little hoodie and your little basketball shorts and all of that and grunt around, you know, talking about John Fetterman. That doesn't make you all that authentic if you're voting like Chuck Schumer, or if you're voting like the late Dianne Feinstein, or you're voting like whatever Democrat that's out there at the moment, cliche Democrat at the moment. So not impressed and all of that. I mean, at one time, when some of these Democrats were running for office on big things, they were fighting for these big things. But you know, the time periods of your George McGoverns and time periods of your Hubert Humphreys, that era is long gone past. Probably the last Democrat that might have tried to fight for something, and he was pretty much just another Bernie Sanders in many ways, was the late Paul Wellstone. And who knows where he would have been today. He might have been where John Fetterman and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are today if he'd be still alive as a U.S. senator. So anyway, I'll go and we'll continue this here.
AOC comes into play because not only is she a Bernie Sanders style of progressive, she is a terrific messenger with strong political skills, as Charlie Kirk noted. Also, AOC doesn't carry the baggage of being part of the Democratic political establishment, a perception that proved poisonous this year to Kamala Harris. Relatedly,
she has been flirting with the establishment all the time, and then she's been pretty much fucking the left. And the left has every right to be as angry as we are with this. David, you should know this. You working for TYT. Oh, I forgot. TYT's starting their little grift, by the way. So it'll be a matter of time, I guess, before they after their apology tour all the right-wing alternative media that's out there, before they joined the MAGA movement, I guess. So, oh well.
Many conservatives give AOC more credit than establishment Democrats do. Here's Democratic centrist and pollster Doug Schoen.
So AOC, as a possible nominee in 2028, what do you make of that? Is that a possibility? What does that mean for your party?
No, I honestly, Lisa, don't think it's a possibility. And if she runs, it'll be a disaster. We lost a couple of members of the squad, fortunately, in primaries this year. Most Democrats don't want extreme left-wing politics. I believe the Democratic Party needs to move to the center on cultural issues and on fiscal issues.
Translation: Democrats need to be just like George W. Bush. Republicans, but maybe pro-choice and maybe lukewarm on LGBTQ issues, softly affirming, but not get too carried away, tweak around the edges. But other than that, be just like the Republicans. Fuck you, Doug Schoen. Fuck you.
Be more fiscally disciplined. And AOC represents the opposite. And I think if she runs, it would be a disaster for the party, and I think her chance of getting nominated would be.
It would be a disaster for the party. The party that ran Kamala Harris, who was proud to stand for nothing, didn't want people like Bernie Sanders to go and campaign for her. He offered. Not sitting there saying that Bernie Sanders is the best thing since sliced bread, but I'm talking about the perception of middle America throughout all the country. What the majoritarian political culture thinks of Bernie Sanders, that he's perceived as far left. They were like, thanks, but no thanks. But what did Kamala Harris do? Kamala Harris embraced Dick Cheney, embraced Liz Cheney. In the words of Breonna Joy Gray, she bumped fists with Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney. But we got to go and sit there and listen to this fucking nerd named Doug Schoen. Obviously, somebody, somebody who probably didn't get laid till he was like 39 years old or something like that. We got to go and listen to this motherfucker and be like, he knows where the energy's at. No, it's people like Doug Schoen is why the Democratic Party is in the toilet that the Democratic Party's been. People like him and that worked in groups like the Democratic Leadership Council in the 1990s and the early 2000s. And thankfully that organization expired in 2011. I think it was in 2011 it did, but it became part of the Clinton Foundation. So unfortunately still lives through the Clinton Foundation.
Be nil.
It would be nil. That could be wishful thinking on Schoen's part, or it could be an understanding of how deeply entrenched the establishment is in the Democratic Party. Remember, in 2020 Democratic presidential primary contests, after Bernie Sanders won the first two, Iowa, New Hampshire, the Democratic establishment got terrified, pulled together, and convinced all of Sanders' rivals, except for Joe Biden, to drop out before South Carolina. The party is
almost completely true. Bernie Sanders won Iowa. Bernie Sanders won New Hampshire. Bernie Sanders blew everybody away in Nevada. Barack Obama made the phone call, convinced all the major centrists to drop out, except for Elizabeth Warren. This was completely calculated. And then, gosh, I cannot think of the name of that man down in South Carolina, kind of worked to go and rigged everything against Bernie. And Bernie realized the second time, I'm fucked. I'm majorly fucked. What do? Guess I would have to drop out and drop the knee to my good friend Joe Biden. That's what he did. And he's been letting us know that Joe Biden's his good friend since then. Sorry, Bernie. Fuck your good friend Joe Biden. Fuck him.
Establishment then unified behind Biden and stopped Sanders from winning the nomination, even though the energy in the Democratic Party, of course, was with Bernie Sanders. So,
Elizabeth Warren stayed in the race just long enough to hurt him in Massachusetts. I remember that. That's what snakes do.
History shows that a progressive Democrat with big ideas scares the daylights out of establishment Democrats. However,
yes, yeah, and guess what? Nothing got done. Remember when Joe Biden said no fundamental changes would take place? He kept his promise. Remember that.
Conservatives seem to appreciate inspiring your party base and driving up their enthusiasm is crucial. And that's where AOC is getting a lot of praise, at least from conservatives.
Just a word of warning to the Republicans, to my party. Do not underestimate AOC. She's young, she's vibrant, she's attractive. I think she's wrong on everything, but she does have real grassroots support. And all of the energy and activism in the Democrat Party remains with the revolutionary left.
AOC is not revolutionary left. What world do you live in? And listen, when Fox News sitting there and they do defend a leftist, they do it any other context. They're telling you how evil the left is. They're telling you how evil Bernie is. They're telling you how evil AOC is. And the only reason that they don't sit there and punch at the Green Party is because the Green Party doesn't have any political influence. But if the Green Party, had like 3 or 4 or 7 seats in Congress and had maybe about 100 people in legislatures throughout the entire country, they'll be punching at the Green Party too. So when Fox News sits there and they take a left person and they go and give them a kind of a left-handed compliment, just be suspicious of them. I mean, I'll take what I can get. I mean, I don't mind the boosting. I mean, but I know what the motives. I know the motives, and I don't fall for it for 1 second. I know what Fox News likes to do. I know what they're all about. So, MSNBC, they want to both wants to destroy the left in a different way. MSNBC wants to destroy the left in primaries. Fox News wants to promote the left because they think it'll be easier to have them defeated, and they think that the issues like the Medicare for all and the labor law reforms and minimum wage increase, they think they're fringe issues. They think that's part of the woke mind virus. That's what they think. Fucking retards. That's what they think. So when it's very basic, common sense, traditional leftism,
of which she is a part.
Right.
So every time the Republicans have underestimated the Democrats, we ended up with Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden. So let's not do it again in 4 years.
Of course, 4 years can be a lifetime in
yeah. And when she's talking about ending up with Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden, I remember when in the 1990s when they thought that Bill Clinton was this big old communist, and then when Barack Obama came in, they thought he was this big old communist. And now that Joe Biden is exiting out of the Oval Office, they are all these years they were calling him far left, but now they're saying he's this centrist. So Fox News, y'all crazy.
politics, and it does seem like the Democratic Party is going to make some changes. A progressive is the leading candidate now in the race to become DNC chair, and there's a generational shift underway in the Democratic Party. Also, AOC at 30.
Generational shift, my foot. The boomers are one of the most conservative groups around. A lot of these boomers were lefties at one time. A lot of them, the ones who were the ones who were around legally that could vote in 72. A lot of them voted for McGovern. A lot of them are hardcore Republicans today, hardcore MAGAs. So don't feed me that line about some of the millennials and Gen Zs today who are progressives. I'm glad they are. Some of them are going to become. Some of them are going to become right wingers. Unfortunately, my age group, Generation X, is in a lot of cultural ways. My age group, Generation X, is kind of cool, but on politics, they're not. A lot of them are studgy old conservatives. But there's some of us in Generation X that kind of went against the grain. I'm proud that I went against the grain.
35 years old, is taking a few steps to become a bit more establishment. She's considering a run to become chair of the House Oversight Committee, a role which would require her to get along with moderate Democrats. She is also building alliances with moderates in New York, paving the way politically for a possible statewide race for governor.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't believe in playing patty cake with moderate Democrats. They're my enemy as much as the hardcore Republicans. They are my enemy. In Congress, Nancy Pelosi is every bit as much my enemy as Marjorie Taylor Greene at this point. In the U.S. Senate, I'm trying to think. Joe Manchin, Kirsten Sinema, who are independents who caucuses with the Democrats, and people like in the Senate, people like Chuck Schumer, people like just your generic Democratic senators. They're as much as my enemy as Mitch McConnell or Tom Cotton or Ted Cruz as far as that's concerned. Or in the U.S. House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi is, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and people like that. They're as much my enemy as Marjorie Taylor Greene or someone like Paul Gosar.
As we said at the top, she is adapting some of her positions on a few social policy issues. Preferred pronouns, for example, are no longer part of AOC's social media messaging. In my view, a presidential run for AOC in 2028 would be tough. She does not have the national fundraising networks and donors like California Governor Gavin Newsom and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who are the potential Democratic frontrunners. And the Democratic Party establishment is still a threat to progressives. However, AOC is clearly one of the Democratic Party's brightest stars. She has the talent, the generational appeal, and the policy perspectives to energize the party and build a powerful movement. And at the very least, she will be an influencer in 2028. Beyond that, her national profile and standing will keep growing. For Democrats and for the future of this country, the AOC dynamic is going to be something to behold. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.
Well, I wish I could share that optimism. Maybe 4 years ago, I would have, that would have sold me that rhetoric there, but I don't look at AOC that way anymore. And I can't believe that we have to sit there and look at AOC in that sort of way. It can't be done in the Democratic Party. It can't be done in the Democratic Party. I mean, we have tried for decades. I mean, there was a time that it could have been done in the Democratic Party. There was a time that there were actual policies that were being accomplished through the Democratic Party, but not any longer. Bill Clinton saw to it that's not going to ever happen again. The gains that we have in our society from FDR's New Deal, from Lyndon Johnson's Great Society domestically, I have to, when I say LBJ, I have to go and make it clear that fuck LBJ for getting us into the Vietnam War. But when it came to the domestic politics, LBJ was good on domestic issues, as good as a Democrat could get. When it came to policies like Medicare, Medicaid, and a lot of the so-called welfare provisions. And here's the thing: all this was largely successful. What FDR and LBJ accomplished. We have income inequality because there was an assault from the days of Ronald Reagan to now, to the present, against the idea of a safety net. Our safety net is tattered. We have the jobs, the what was it called? The industrialization took place in the Rust Belt. All the good paying union jobs disappeared. And it contributed, started real harshly under Reagan, and then really you saw what remained of these good paying jobs dried up when Bill Clinton signed NAFTA in the 1990s. And it just continues to downward spiral. And we have an economy that is fucking rigged. Now, some people who may, I have ran across some hard left critics in the past said, "Oh, you're just a social democrat," and for many years that's what I was, and in some ways I still am. But I've actually have developed a more anti-capitalist ideology because they keep fucking with us. I used to define socialism as have a labor law reform and a single payer system. We're largely there, but we got to go beyond that. I mean, we need to go and fight for labor law reform. We need to go and fight for single payer healthcare. We need to go and fight for these things. We need a jobs guarantee program. We need these things. But I would say large sectors of the economy, we actually do need social ownership of. And just that's what it's going to be require. Anything that imposes harm on society by the private sector needs to be publicly administered and owned for the good of all. Like, for example, oil. There's no reason why oil should be on private hands. There's no reason why medical care, the entire medical system, should be in private hands. Large sectors of the energy sector, there's no reason why that should be under private hands. And even some things that are like, like, for example, Jeff Bezos running Amazon. I don't think he has the right to have that kind of profit. I would nationalize Amazon in a heartbeat and make it part of the U.S. Postal Service, for example. If I could do it, I would do it. I would, there are things I would do for the benefit of all. As far as Boeing, for what they're doing with the damaged parts and everything, on planes, and you can see what's being done. They're what's happening to some of the whistleblowers and everything like that. Boeing should be nationalized. I'm not going to say nationalize Twitter, but I do think that Twitter and a lot of the big tech that needs to be, I do think that it needs to be regulated to a public utility to guarantee the free speech rights of content makers. Because to me, free speech rights triumphs over private property rights of the big tech. So, you have to kind of take things on a case by case basis, I guess, as one could say. Would AOC be able to go and tackle these things? I have my doubts, and all that. Now, I don't think that AOC is dumb. Like the right wing say, "Oh, she's stupid." Now, AOC is immature. Doesn't make her stupid, but she's immature. She acts like a damn kid sometimes. She needs some growing up. And all that. I'm a kid at heart myself, but I'm not a member of Congress. I'm just an asshole with an opinion. But AOC, you need to, if you want to represent the left, you need to actually fight for the left. And you need to fight for straight up economics. And you need to give up. You need to give up your quest for censorship. I don't like Tucker Carlson, but I was very offended with your little speech about how glad you are that Fox News gave him the axe. That made you defend Fox News. And Fox News is overall institutionally worse than Tucker Carlson. And I don't like Tucker Carlson, but he ought to not be silenced, because you call out for people to be silenced, it ends up hurting the left. Think about it as a form of self-preservation. Oh well. So anyway, let me go ahead and talk to everyone here on this chat line. I'm going to get the hell on out of here. As you can tell, I'm not particularly too impressed by the idea of AOC running for president. So, in a nutshell. Okay, we have Warren Hayes, he says. How you doing, Warren? Let's see. Corporate news always throws out fantasy rumors. Yeah, I actually don't think she's going to run. And she does. There is one good. She actually is contributing to one good, AOC. I'm going to give her credit. This is my one nice thing I'm going to say about AOC. Well, actually, I got two nice things to say about her. One is non-political. And this is going to be a little bit misogynist, but she is still the hottest member of the U.S. House of Representatives. She's beautiful. I've always thought she was beautiful. So I'm not going to take that away from her. But honestly, she scares the shit out of Chuck Schumer. And what that means about her scaring the shit out of Chuck Schumer is that means that that Chuck Schumer, I'm not going to say it makes Chuck Schumer a better senator, but it makes him a less shitty senator. He knows that he has to placate a little bit to the left because of her presence, because he's scared that she may challenge him in a primary. And I did talk about her running for governor one day. That'd be interesting too. I don't think she'll win in a primary for governor. I don't think she'll win in a primary against Chuck Schumer, but it will be a very bloody fight. Figuratively speaking, that would be an interesting fight to watch. But I don't think it'll happen. But Chuck Schumer's scared of her. That is true. That's why he is as not as shitty as he would probably like to be. Hey, Kim, how are you doing today? Maybe AOC will head the Department of Government Efficiency in 2028, and maybe she will. All right. I just have it in me to let it out. Just kind of tell it like it is. Listening to this makes me dumber, says Bella Greasy. Well, if you're talking about David Schuster's sycophantic praise of AOC, I agree. Such a silly man, referring to David Schuster from Rebel Headquarters. The autumn leaves background is very soothing. Yeah, it is. I wanted a better Christmas background, but it's still technically autumn. So until the meantime, maybe in the next video I'll have a better Christmas background. But autumn is very soothing. It's my favorite time of the year. Thank you. Yeah. If I had it my way, it would be October and November all year round. I'm a autumn kind of person. It's my favorite time of year. So, great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. Yeah. I'm kind of guilty of all three. All right. Okay. Everyone comes watch my show tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time. I'll finish off the rest of those brain cells. That means it'll be 9 o'clock. I will be on my way to work, but I'll be watching it on my cell phone. So I'm glad it's going to be on tonight, Chuck. Thank you. So you hear it tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Chuck's Intergalactic UFO Show will be on in just a few minutes. Schumer got beat down by a Puerto Rican chick back in the day. Yeah. Well, she's one of my people. Yeah, I'm half Puerto Rican. Obviously not as nice looking as her, but I'm not as nice looking as most people, honestly, to tell you the truth. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Some announcements real quick before I go. I'm not sure I'll be doing a show Monday. I have a lot of shit that's going on. My parents are going to be visiting here and trying to get everything ready. Just getting stuff ready and all that. I was not doing a Tuesday Bragglands. Bragglands is going to be done on Wednesday. That's what was agreed to because I had to pick up my parents at the airport. But strangely enough, I will do my Monday stream on Tuesday. So It might be a little bit earlier. Yeah, you'll see the time. This just going to be my makeup day, but I'm not doing a stream on Monday, so I'm letting y'all know in advance. And just trying to. I just got a lot of shit to get caught up on. I achieved a lot of things that I've been behind on in the last few days. I achieved it, but I still got some more shit I need to have accomplished. So no live stream on Monday, but there'll be a regular live stream on Tuesday, Bragglands on Wednesday, regular live stream on Friday. So I know it's a little awkward. On the 24th, no live stream, obviously. Christmas Eve, no live stream. And New Year's Eve, no live stream, no Bragglands on New Year's Eve. But we're probably going to have a Wednesday, New Year's Day Bragglands. That's what was agreed upon. So there y'all have it there. And then everything's ought to kind of more or less kind of back to normal. So that's kind of the schedule there. So letting y'all know. And I'll let y'all go yes. And definitely follow Chuck's Intergalactic UFO show. If I don't have it as a link on my YouTube page, I will make sure it's up there, Chuck. I will make sure it's up there somehow. If it isn't up there, I think it might be up there, but I'm not sure. If it isn't, I'm going to make sure it's up there before the end of this weekend. So, thank you, Warren. I appreciate that. So, anyway, if you like what you heard, please press like and comment. Comment any way you disagree with what I have to say. Feel free to share any content you have that you want to share on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it because we're, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Let's see. Remember to reject corporate media. Subscribe to the Willy Bragg Show here on YouTube and all of my other platforms. Help me get up to at least by the end of this year. Help me get up to 900 because I'm like 891. Please help me get up to 900 if you don't mind. Let people know about this channel. So if I can get up to 900, it'll be a matter of time before, trying to get up to 1,000 before February 17th, which it would be my 5th year doing this. So that's the goal, to try to get up to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting there. And then maybe in about 25 years from now, I'll have, 60,000 subscribers. Oh, God. 25 years from now. Imagine, be in my 80s, Okay. So anyway, reject corporate media. So I'll conclude by saying free and pardon Ed Snowden. Fully pardon Julian Assange. He still needs our help. Free Palestine. Free healthcare for all. And fight for, like hell, to keep our freedom of speech, what little bit it remains, and restore it fully. I'm Willy Bragg. I will see you all later. Take care. I have to go to work shortly. Bye-bye.